I would like to extend a warm welcome to all members of the Cabinet, other members of the Council, members of the public and officers in attendance at today's Cabinet meeting of the 6th of August 2025. Welcome to members of the public and press who may be watching the meeting live on YouTube. I am Councillor Jill Cleary, Leader of the Council and Chairman of the Cabinet. I would now like to hand over to Democratic Services to read the housekeeping note.
Please note this meeting is being broadcast live on the Council's website and on YouTube. It will remain available for a minimum of 12 months. Please can those in attendance use your microphone when speaking and switch it off when you've finished. Please turn any mobile devices to a silent setting for the duration of the meeting. If a fire alarm rings, please can everyone leave the room immediately using the nearest fire exit. Do not use the lift. Please go to the fire assembly point located at the bottom of the car park by the garages.
Thank you. Please would members introduce themselves during the meeting if not already introduced by name. Apologies, none received by any Cabinet members. Item 1, Leaders' Announcements. Minister's Visit. Members, I would like to briefly update you on a ministerial visit that took place last week. I was very pleased to welcome Baroness Taylor of Stevenage, OBE, the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State for Housing and Local Government, to the New Forest. The visit began at Penman House in Totton, which is our first housing development to meet the government's proposed Future Homes Standard. The Baroness also joined us at the New Forest and Hampshire County Show, where she met with our teams and heard about the work we are doing to improve the recycling rate with our new waste and recycling service. The visit came as we prepare our submission to government on local government reorganisation. It was an important chance to demonstrate what we deliver for our communities now and to underline our commitment to making sure any future changes protect local decision-making, valued services, and the unique character of the New Forest for generations to come. I mentioned the county show. Our stand's theme was Recycle for New Forest. And at the 3-day event, visitors found out more about our new waste and recycling collection services, and we had a focus on encouraging recycling through interactive displays and activities. As well as the recycling messaging being promoted on our stand, the Pony Club Mounted Games performed a display in the main ring using our recycling bins and outdoor food waste caddies. It was such a scream. The event was very well attended and, as usual, our stand was a real highlight. I know that on top of all of our service demands, it took a real collective effort to deliver the show at this busy time, and I would like to record my thanks to all who contributed to the success of both the show and the ministerial visit. Thank you. Item 2, Minutes. Do Cabinet members agree the minutes of the meeting held on the 2nd of July 2025 as a correct record?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 3, Declarations of Interest. Do Cabinet members have any declarations of pecuniary or any other interests in respect of the business for this meeting?
None.
Well done. Item 4, public participation. There isn't anybody. Okay. Item 5, proposed draft housing landlord strategy 2025 to 2030 with reference to the HRA business plan. I would now like to introduce the portfolio holder, Councillor Steve Davis.
Thank you, Chair. This draft housing landlord strategy is about helping us to meet the regulator's consumer standards. It addresses the regulatory changes that have evolved in the housing sector since the production of our existing tenancy policy. I am pleased with the consultation on this draft, especially with the TIG. I can't stress the value of the tenant voice that they provide and also their representative on the Housing and Communities panel. Yes, TIG, okay, Tenants Involvement Group. I should have explained that. I do apologise. Thank you for reminding me, Chair.
I would now like to go to Paul Thomas, Assistant Director of Housing. Paul, have you got anything to add?
Not essentially, Chair, but effectively the housing landlord strategy it's not a legal requirement to have one. It's kind of a nice to have, but it does encapsulate our ambitions in the housing service to achieve a high, a compliant grade from the regulator. But it also really spells out our service offered to tenants and would-be tenants and our stakeholders as well. Because it's far broader than just providing bricks and mortar these days, as we know, all our partnership working with health and social care to meet the needs of our vulnerable tenants. At the same time, it does reflect our housing revenue account and our business planning approach. It's a major business for the council. It is the largest income stream, and we are accountable for spending tenants' money because the government sees it very much as tenants' money. And we're supposed to do that responsibly, balancing the need to improve our existing housing stock, as we know, to the energy efficiency standards of the future, but also to follow through on the council and the cabinet and the administration ambitions of building new affordable housing as well, or within that same financial envelope. And I think there's nothing particularly new in the housing landlord strategy. It's effectively reflecting what we're doing already and what we intend to do in the future.
Okay, thank you. I'll open the floor to Cabinet. Do you have any other comments? Okay, I'll open it to the wide floor. I've got Councillor Philip Dowd.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, while I broadly welcome this document, there are a couple of things that I've picked out for comment. I am a little bit concerned about the phrase considered as a long-term capital business. I understand there needs to be fiscal discipline and financial acumen as part of this, but I worry that phrase may resonate differently with tenants that feel that being a business, it's making money out of them rather than spending public money. So I wonder if a better turn of phrase may be used there. On part dot 24 on page 8, it doesn't mention the fact that there is a legal requirement now to have a minimum EPC, and I wonder whether that should actually feature in the document, or words to that effect, because obviously we would expect that rate to go up over time. I already mentioned the typo at point 32, so I won't go into that here. The only other thing I would like to raise is I'm pleased that there are engagement exercises going on, and we look forward to that coming to Hythe, which is one of the largest areas of rental accommodation, and would like to see that the spread of available accommodation is looked at across the district, because I think there are areas that are underserved at present. Thank you.
Can I go to Richard Knott, our Strategic Director, please?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the comments, Councillor Dowd. Councillor Dowd does actually highlight the responsibilities that we have in terms of fiscal and managing £35 million worth of income, and subsequently with capital spend and borrowing over £50 million worth of expenditure on a whole raft of service delivery. So therefore we must act business-like, we must represent value for money with our service and the expenditure that we deliver. Tenants hold us to account, and that's only right that we are business-like with that money. However, what that doesn't do is take away the empathy and the empathetic approach and the listening that we deliver through all of the engagement that we have with tenants, both with the tenant involvement group, complaint learning on an everyday basis, and through our tenancy sustainment team who support the most vulnerable of our tenants. So I think whilst Councillor Dowd highlights a good point, I think we can demonstrate hopefully to members that we both deliver a business-like approach whilst maintaining an empathetic and sympathetic approach and a listening approach to our tenants. On the second point around the EPCC rating, we have been working under government guidance for a couple of years now on the target by 2030. There is a consultation out at the moment for the minimum energy efficiency standards, which are present in the private sector, and these will be forthcoming in the social sector, which does ratify in law, or proposes to ratify in law, the minimum EPCC. So that will come, and we'll obviously make sure that that features as a legal requirement in future documentation, should that be approved, and we'll obviously be completing the consultation to support that as well. And then thirdly, around available accommodation, one of the key strategic aims is to have accommodation all around the district. And an example recently is us actually overlooking some opportunities in one part of the district because we feel we've got enough spread and coverage there, because we do want to have accommodation all around the district. And members will be aware of forthcoming development at Hythe Hospital, which is coming forward, and already also some potential opportunities in that waterside area that we are bidding for. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Councillor Steve Clark.
Thank you, Leader. Just to pick up, Councillor Davies mentioned briefly our tenant member on the housing panel. And I'd just like to sort of point out that that's part of the way we engage with our tenants. He's providing valuable insight and input into the experiences of council tenants. He also turned up at our recent community engagement event on the new North Milton estate. And it was good to see him there interacting with tenants, because although I think he lives in the Totton area, he's going around the district. So it sort of answers Councillor Dowd's point that we need to be going around the district. I agree with that. I know there are plans to have similar events around the district. And that was an excellent community event. I believe you attended as well. And we saw our uniform services there, actively engaging with our tenants. We saw other things happening, youth charities were there, and that's the way that we demonstrate that we care about our tenants, respond to them, and actually engage with them on a practical day-to-day basis. So I think those are important things to remember in the context of a report like this.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay, can I then take Cabinet to the recommendations on page 3? Cabinet, do you agree?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 6, Housing Annual Compliance Report. Again, this is portfolio holder, Councillor Steve Davis.
Thank you. This is the final full year report presented to the Housing and Communities OSP in June. OSP is Overview and Scrutiny Panel, Chair. This is a significant report. It does detail the statutory compliance measures to demonstrate effective scrutiny of our housing function. We will continue to ensure that damp and mould awareness, though, and prevention remains a priority. This is a very significant part of what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd now like to go to Sophie Tuffin, who is our Service Manager, Housing Maintenance Programmes and Servicing. Sophie, would you like to add anything?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to point out that it's a really positive report. There's some really good compliance figures in there, and it demonstrates the Council's continuing ability to prioritise compliance across all of its homes, and the transparency of its reporting through structured governance, the efforts support the readiness for AWAB's law, which is coming into effect in October, and for any future inspections by the social housing regulator. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd open the floor to Cabinet. Do you have any comments? Councillor Jeremy Herron.
Only to say that I'm always pleased to see a report like this that shows that we are doing very well. And what amazes me is that our team continue to strive to do even better despite that year on year. Very pleased, thank you.
I will now open comments to the floor. Councillor Philip Dowd.
Thank you, Chair. I'll limit myself to one area, although this covers point 7 as well. Point 125 on page 102/26, under equalities. A recent select committee that was exploring the experiences of people with disabilities mentioned the fact that things tend to affect them more greatly because of the fact they spend more time in their houses. So I would like to see that evidence about how those people in our district with disabilities are coping under these conditions, where delays to repairs and maintenance happen, they tend to impact them more. I'd like to see that evidence of that and is collected separately so that we can see that they are being well served through the maintenance process. Thank you.
Okay, can I go back to Paul Thomas, Assistant Director of Housing, please? Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. That really cuts to the heart of what we're trying to do. So you may have read quite a lot about bespoking services, and there is a general feeling, criticism within the housing sector that it's sort of one size fits all. So this goes to the heart of our improvement plan and our gap analysis of our quality and diversity standard, or influence and accountability with tenants as well. So we're really striving hard to get to know our tenants, not just our tenants, but their households and the things that might impact upon them, and really trying to shape our services to get more individualised and personalised, including people with disabilities and other, other problems that they may have in life. It's not just physical disabilities, but it's mental health, all kinds of issues that we know. We know more vulnerable tenants, more vulnerable people are in social housing than in the general population, so it all kind of fits together in that space. So we're really striving to get that place, and that really is our main ambition now. We've got good compliance, we've got good services, but that really is what that is the place we need to get to in terms of personalisation. The most common example I've seen really is somebody with a mental health concern, and we may have we'll fix your dripping tap within 5 days, but that may need to be fixed immediately to help that person's mental health concern, for example. So there's lots of examples like that where top performing landlords are really trying to get to the heart of that, and that's clearly our ambition to do that, and that's kind of what we mean by a C1 or a fully compliant service. So thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Alan Glass.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I think we've got to be very careful here of not overlapping with other agencies, because obviously we go around our own wards. A lot of people, when they come back from hospital, they have handles fitted and things. I know of a lady that I've just helped get a stair lift because she's had an upstairs flat and her legs don't work much. So I think, although we've got to be careful ourselves, we shouldn't overlap what the NHS and other local business entities are doing.
I would take the liberty of answering that myself. We work very, very well with other agencies, and we know who is responsible for what, Alan, so don't worry, that is truly and utterly taken care of. Anybody else from the floor? Thank you. Then can I go to the recommendations on page 77? Cabinet, do you agree?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 7, tenant satisfaction measures 2024 to 2025. Again, it appears to be the Steve show. Portfolio holder, Councillor Steve Davis.
Thank you, Chair. TSMs, as I prefer to call them, of course. I am very pleased to present this report, which shows the continued improvement in the key measures. The tables in paragraph 7 and 10, I can't remember the page numbers, illustrate the measures where we have made significant improvements, but also where we can focus on improving. I think we have set ourselves some pretty tough targets, to be honest with you, probably tougher than most other landlords. But these will lead to results for which we can be very proud. I'm absolutely sure of that. Bit of an understatement here, though. I am absolutely delighted with an 84% overall satisfaction level, and I'm confident that the team will continue to improve on these targets.
Thank you. I would like to now go to Paul Thomas, Assistant Director of Housing. Paul.
Thank you, Chair. I will confess to not being an expert on TSM gathering, but I would assure the Cabinet that this is independently done each year. So 500 or 600 tenants are contacted individually, and sort of genuine feedback is taken by an independent agency. So this is not something that the housing function does itself. I think there are some questions probably about little bits of variances, particularly about repairs that might go up and down slightly. But we should expect variances when we're asking different people each time about their experiences. So I think I would highlight the consistency. I would also highlight that this is upper quartile performance. This is the top 25% of all landlords, which includes housing associations and council stockholding landlords. We're one of the few authorities, actually, 3% doesn't say much, but most, because of the introduction of AWAB's law, the publication of damp and mould, and the highlighting of social housing not in a good way over the last 12 months. Most landlords, even very good landlords, their TSM scores have gone down, as have actually gone up in this context. So one of my ambitions was a 3% rise, and I didn't expect to get it for another 2 years, but it's arrived within 1 year. So it's not the be-all and end-all. I wouldn't be complacent about it, but it does give a good indicator of where we sit as a performing landlord.
Thank you, and brilliant that you've achieved your 3% in 1 year. Well done. I would now like to open this to Cabinet. Cabinet, do you have any comments? No? Okay, let's open it to the floor. Ooh. We've done so well, you're all blown away by the facts and figures.
I think the report speaks for itself.
Yes, so do I, but hey-ho. So, can I take Cabinet to the recommendations on page 105? Cabinet, do you agree?
Agree.
Thank you. Right. Item 8, revised transformation strategy and business case. And that happens to be me. I'm happy to support the direction of this report and the revised transformation strategy takes us in. We are still committed to delivering services that meet the needs of our residents and make it as easy as possible for them to engage with us in a way that suits their needs. We need to invest in the right systems to do this. As you know, I'm also passionate about supporting our staff, and it will now be more important than ever to make sure they have the necessary support, skills and capabilities to navigate the next few years and thrive in a future authority. This revised strategy delivers on this. It is appropriate that we have reflected on the scope of the transformation programme to make sure it delivers meaningful benefits and supports these objects. But it is also appropriate that we continue to invest in our systems and our staff to improve delivery of our services to our customers and respond to the uncertainty by positioning us well to transition to a new authority. I would like to go to Ingrid Archer, Transformation and Improvement Manager. Ingrid, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Chair. So I just have some brief comments to add. So local government reorganisation has significantly changed the context in which the Council approaches transformation, and it's appropriate in this new context that we revise the transformation objectives and revisit the business case approved in 2024. This paper presents a revised transformation strategy and considers the impact of this new approach on the business case approved. If I could briefly touch on both of these. The revised strategy at Appendix 1 of the report evaluates the original drivers for transformation in light of LGR and updates the strategic objectives in this new context. It also considers the scope of transformation activities, excluding those that are no longer feasible or practical within a shorter time frame, and considering the long-term future of the Council. While the original transformation programme aimed to deliver financial savings and modernise services, the focus of the revised strategy has now shifted to non-financial benefits, including ensuring a smooth transition to the new authority, maintaining service quality, and preparing staff and systems for future integration. Most importantly, the new strategy removes significant changes to roles, responsibilities, and staffing structures, but continues to deliver significant and necessary improvements to our digital capabilities and to our support for customers and our staff. The three major digital programmes still ongoing will be the new CRM and customer platform, replacement of the housing maintenance system, and replacement of regulatory services software. These are essential due to ageing systems and are critical for continuity and future readiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ingrid. Right, I will open this to Cabinet. Cabinet, do you have any further comments? Councillor Jeremy Heron.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we have long-running transformation strategy, and in the light of LGR, which kind of threw a spanner in the work, we had to review that. But it is important to remember that this council does not, its responsibility does not end with LGR. We have been a responsible steward to the services and for the people of this community, and I think that it is very important that although change is afoot, we continue to do that to the best of our ability and hand on the baton of local government to whoever picks it up afterwards in the best conditions that we possibly can. So therefore, it is very important that although there is significant change, this revised transformation strategy must look to deliver those services and maintain them and ensure that we continue delivering the best that we can for the people that we serve. Thank you.
Well said, and let's hope it's a forest-based authority.
That goes without saying. That is absolutely primary at the head of our thoughts.
I will open this for comments from the floor. No, thank you. Can I then take Cabinet to the recommendations on page 151? Cabinet, do you agree?
Agreed.
Me again. Item 9, Principal Risk Register Review. This report represents the Council's Principal Risk Register in its new format, with Appendix 1 detailing all 19 principal risks. Updates are provided to the Cabinet every 6 months and enables members to have oversight of the risks and the mitigation plans in place. This in turn means members are informed about the risk management implications associated with decision making and ensures effective management of them. Following the quarterly council-wide review of service risk registers, 2 risks have been classified as a principal risk and removed, and 1 new principal risk has been included. The 2 removed relate to the political environment around Hampshire County Council due to the postponement of the May 2025 elections to 2026, and Hardley Depot as this project has been completed. The additional risk included relates to the recruitment and retention of staff due to the uncertainty of local government reorganisation and devolution. The Principal Risk Register has been reviewed by the Audit Committee and their feedback was considered by officers in producing this final iteration presented. Full details are provided in the report. I would now like to go to Paul Whittles, Assistant Director of Finance. Paul.
Thank you, Chair. Just to confirm, this is the 6th monthly update to Cabinet of our Principal Risk Register, following the quarterly review of service risk registers across the Council. As already stated, 2 risks have been removed and 1 additional risk has been added. There are a number of other adjustments to the scores in the Appendix 2. And I would just like to draw your attention to the sections 16 to 18 of the report, where the feedback from Audit Committee is documented. One request from Audit Committee was to include both the inherent and mitigated risk scores in the appendices, and we've added that to add more clarity and detail. A further comment was received regarding Principal Risk number 2, regarding emergency planning. Audit Committee felt this was stated too low, but having consulted with the service manager, we remain confident this is a true reflection of the risk at this point in time. And the final matter was around members receiving information to allow support, allowing them to support the waste rollout service. And I understand this information has been provided to all members. So Appendix 1 has full details of the 19 risks, including owners, scores and the mitigating actions. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I will open this for comments from the Cabinet. None? Happy? Lovely. Let's open it to the floor. Any comments? Councillor Philip Dowd.
Thank you. Yes, I'm looking at point 17 and I'm pleased to see that this has been highlighted, working with partner agencies where there are risks, particularly one of the examples given is the disruptions to water supply. Communication in these sort of situations is absolutely key. So all our residents will be very keen to hear that communication is as good as it can be between partner agencies and the council. Thank you.
Especially as it happens to be on the water side, most of the times it happens.
Indeed.
Right, can I take Cabinet to the recommendations on page 175? Cabinet, do you agree the recommendations?
Agreed.
Thank you. Item 10. Update on local plan review and revised local development scheme. I'd like to introduce the portfolio holder, Councillor Derek Tipp.
Thank you, Leader. Good morning, members. This report provides an update on the local plan review and seeks Cabinet approval for a revised local development scheme, which sets out the updated timetable and the approach for preparing the new local plan. Since the last briefing to Council on the current scheme in October 2024, the Council undertook a call for sites exercise from October to December 2024 and subsequently held an issues and scope consultation from February to April 2025, which included public exhibitions. This saw quite an increase in the numbers of comments received, which are summarised in the report. Key themes from the consultation included the urgent need for affordable housing, improved infrastructure, climate resilience, and protection of the New Forest's unique character. Respondents also emphasised the importance of town centre regeneration, prioritising brownfield development, and ensuring that new housing is well connected to employment and services. The revised scheme proposes a further consultation on a draft local plan, which is known as a Regulation 18 plan, in late 2025, later this year, focusing on spatial growth options and emerging policy directions. This will be followed by a full draft local plan, known as a Regulation 19 plan, consultation in the autumn of 2026, with submission to the Secretary of State planned by the end of that year. Officers are currently in the process of gathering all the necessary information to support that work. The report also recommends initiating reviews of conservation area appraisals, starting with Ealing and Bremer, to ensure alignment with current planning policy and heritage guidance. These reviews are expected to take approximately 8 months and will be undertaken by the Council's conservation team. This revised approach ensures the Council remains compliant with statutory duties, responsive to community priorities, and the work programme will continue to be kept under review as work progresses on local government reorganisation. I would like to congratulate the planning team on the very comprehensive report before us today. The wide range of responses to the consultation will get a great deal of attention, and with conflicting views coming forward, there will undoubtedly be some people who will be disappointed, whatever is in the final updated plan. We are determined to produce a plan that is right for this district, which is why we are looking at every possible site for development and getting the views of all our members, including those serving, of course, on the local plan working group, which continues. Some compromises will have to be made to balance the many policies coming from central government. And that's it.
Thank you, Derek. I would now like to go to Dean Brunton, who is our Planning Policy, Infrastructure and Delivery person.
Thank you, Chair. I think Councillor Tips actually summed it up very nicely, and it's only just to say thank you very much to the public who've engaged with the consultation so far earlier this year, and for the work of the scrutiny group, member scrutiny group, who have provided great input into our work to date.
Thank you, Dean. Right, I will open the floor to Cabinet. Cabinet, do you have any further comments? Councillor Jeremy Heron.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, when we're producing these plans, we have to work within the constraints of national government, and that does not always run, should I say, in line with what our local residents would like to see. However, when we are working within those constraints, we are looking to deliver a plan that delivers the best outcome for our residents within those constraints. And given with the local government reorganisation, this could be our very last chance to influence these matters for our local residents. So I am incredibly supportive of it. I think it's going to be a very difficult and hard task, and it's good to see that the community is engaging in it to the best of its ability. And I congratulate our team on the work they've done so far and look forward to seeing them progress it further. Thank you.
Yes, it would be nice to leave a lasting legacy, won't it, of a forest base. Thank you. I will open now the comments to the floor. Councillor Steve Clark.
Thank you, Chair. Just from the point of view of the Task and Finish group, I'd like to raise the thanks to the officers at this stage. I think it's very easy to see a report like this and actually fail to recognise the size of the team that has to go into this. I think we've got in excess of 20 officers. It's a large team. So this is a costly but necessary exercise, and it provides significant challenges. And as Councillor Heron just pointed out, it's not always going to please our public in terms of the outcomes, because there are significant challenges. But our officers are acting professionally. They are the sheer volume of evidence which they're having to analyse and present. I can assure you, from the Task and Finish group's perspective, it's mind-boggling at times. So could we place on record our thanks to every member of the team for all the hard work, and sometimes the frustrations that they're having to feel when we challenge them as councillors, because we don't like the outcomes. But we've got to recognise that this is evidence-based and it's national policy. So we will, in the end, have to come up with a document that will satisfy those national guidelines. We have some difficult documents shortly to be published and go online. So we as councillors need to be backing our team and explaining, if we can, to our public the problems that we're going to engage in the future.
Yes, very well said. Anybody else? No. Okay, can I take Cabinet to the recommendations on page 201? Cabinet, do you agree the recommendations?
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for your attendance today, and thank you for the officers. I know you are exceedingly busy, and thank you for giving up your time. I now declare this meeting is closed.